Now I want to consider the chase functionality, that is the AI chase coroutine here. Now notice the first thing that we do in this function is set the sensitivity of the line of sight algorithm to loose, whereas previously in the patrol system we set that to strict. Now setting the patrol to strict made sense, but in the chase we want to set this to loose, and the reason this makes sense is because during the chase it may be possible, for example, for the player to run around the corner. Now when they do this, they are temporarily out of sight of the NPC character. And what should happen in this instance? Well, we wouldn't want the NPC to go straight back to patrolling every time they just lost momentary sight of the player character. We actually want them to make an effort to try and find the player character. So if the player runs around the corner, we want the enemy to pursue them. And that's why the sight sensitivity is set to loose to accommodate this behavior. The next thing we do is we resume the NavMesh agent as we've done before to its last known position, and then we set the destination. Notice that we are setting the destination to the last known sighting of the player character. We are not setting it to the player character position, but to the last known sighting. And again, this makes sense because as the NPC is chasing the player, all they can ever really know is the last sighting of the player. If the player runs around the corner, the NPC can't actually know where the player goes when they've lost sight of the player. They can only know the last known sighting. And once we've plugged that into the destination, we wait for the path to be calculated. We've seen this before. And then the next thing we do is we calculate whether the agent has arrived at the player, whether they have come within the stopping distance of the player, or rather whether they have come into the stopping distance of the last known sighting. Now when they arrive at the last known sighting, we have a key question to ask. The question is, can we see the player? Now if we have reached the last known sighting and we still can't see the player, then I think we have to say, well, the player temporarily at least is lost. Maybe we will find the player again, maybe we won't, we don't know. We're going to have to go back to patrol again. And so that is what the NPC will do. However, if we arrive at the player location and the player is in sight, then we want to attack the player. We have reached in range of the player, and so we want to attack. Now when this happens, we move down here to the AI attack coroutine, which is the coroutine that runs when we are attacking. A very similar thing is going on here. When we arrive within distance of the player, we attack. And to do that, we reduce the health points by our max damage variable, multiplied by time.delta time. Notice that is to keep a constant speed of damage. Now if we are attacking the player and then suddenly the player moves away by running, for example, we want to return back to the chase state so that we can pursue the player. Notice that we can't go from attack back to patrol. If we want to go to patrol, we have to go from attack to chase and then from chase to patrol. It is only inside the chase state that we have the ability to move to either patrol or attack. And that's how the finite state machine works for this enemy character. So I'm going to save all of this code and then return back to MonoDevelop here, or rather back to the Unity editor, and take this for one last play run here. So I'm going to press play. The enemy character is patrolling around, and there he is. He hasn't seen us yet. But if I run here, now he has seen us, yes, and he's pursuing us, and he's coming to attack us. And again, notice he stops when he arrives here, but I'm going to run away here, and he continues to pursue us. So that's pretty good here. We have the finite state machine up and running in our code, and things are looking good. So that completes this module of the course, and it completes the course in general. We've seen a lot on this course, many different techniques from coding to moving objects around to AI and to all kinds of other things. I hope you found it very useful. This has been 3dmotive.com. I've been Alan Thorne. Thank you for joining me, and best wishes for the future.